He looks amazing, but in comparison to the photo on the left, he looks like he's lost a half of a person. You know, there's nothing wrong with looking amazing, but that desire to be the biggest, the strongest, it doesn't outweigh your desire to live. Coach Greg, in today's video, what happens when you go from blasting steroids for years, I'm talking 15 years and or more, to suddenly going on HRT? And no, I'm not talking about Coach Greg. I'm talking about Chase Irons. In his past, he was blasting up to 10 grams of steroids each and every week. Essentially was saying, I can do this while being healthy. You know, I'll take the right peptides. Perhaps people can go to Algorex, Gelt, the telmisartans, the beta blockers, whatever, and they think that they're actually healthy. But eventually a time comes when you realize that Coach Greg was right all along. You know, growing up is realizing that Coach Greg is always right. Chase Irons, he finally listened to Coach Greg. Look at the size of this behemoth. He was 270 pounds. Lean. We got younger guys like Julian, what is he, 23? 260 lean, 280 lean, 300 lean. It never ends until there comes a time when it's time to cycle off. You can't do this forever, and the sooner you realize that you're being an idiot, the better. And so you all know that I used to blast steroids and that I'm currently on HRT. Many of you doubt the doses that I'm on. How much muscle do you actually lose on the right? If I just showed you this photo on the right and never told you anything about him whatsoever, you would say he has an amazing physique. Look at this guy. He's shredded. He's got abs. He's got muscles. He's done the thing. He looks amazing, but in comparison to the photo on the left, he looks like he's lost a half of a person. His actual weight in the after is only 200 pounds, down from 270. 70 pounds of muscle he has lost. His former dose, he states, going from 3 grams to 250 milligrams TRT transformation. Since those years of abuse, he's decided to come off down to HRT doses. Frankly, 250 milligrams, it's not really TRT. I bet his testosterone levels are probably 1,500 and or more, but it's certainly much better than what he's doing, and so I applaud his efforts to cycle off. And so there you have it. This is a 3-year transformation from blasting hella grams of gear up to 10 grams a week, I do believe at one point, to only doing 250 milligrams, and he's currently 200 pounds. Now, if you ask the average person, a normal person walking down the street, a normal person working out at the gym, whether it's male and or female, the majority are going to say he looks better on the right. He looks healthier. He looks more streamlined. He looks more athletic. His waist is smaller. It's tighter. Why not go for that in the first place? Like, why are we blasting 3 to 10 grams of gear? He isn't an IFBB pro competing for the Olympia title. And even if he was, what is the point? Eventually, you're going to realize that all that competing, it wasn't healthy. And once you get sick, and that time will come, you will, in fact, regret it. No counting calories, no counting macros. This before and after wasn't about looking better. My goal is to get back to a natural size. Before I started the big routine, I was 160 pounds at 23. That's a normal, healthy sized man at 5'10". TRT is holding me effortlessly right now here at 200. And so he cares about his health. Many of you are thinking, yeah, but you're losing your muscle. Muscle's going to help you to live longer. Actually, it's the opposite. More muscle to a point helps you to live longer. For example, if you're 110 pounds, more muscle is going to help. But if you're 180 or let's say 200 pounds, that is too much. When you're 60, 70, 80, and you weigh this much, you have this much muscle, the extra wear and tear on your heart, the strain, it's going to lead to an early grave. And so, yes, having some muscle is important, but having a healthy heart is more importanter, if you know what I'm saying. A lot of people are poking fun at how much older my body looks now compared to that of 3 years ago. How did you age 20 years in 3? Who cares? Yeah, your body looks older. When you eat a lot of food, your skin, it stretches out. For example, I'm old. I have looser skin at the bottom. Let me just lean forward here. It's not really all that bad. It's a little bit of loose skin. You see that? It's a little bit. If I were to gain some body fat or take steroids and juice up The muscles would swell out and the skin, it would also expand, as skin is very elastic, and it would look younger. And so when you have very big muscles, or frankly, if you have very large breasts, or if you're a female and you're pregnant, you don't have any loose skin. It's taut, it's being pushed out. But when you lose all of that muscle and you deflate, of course, you're gonna have some more looser skin, you're gonna look older. And frankly, when you get older, body fat, it goes from your face. And so a lot of older women who, for example, were getting fillers and so on, when they get older, they're gonna look a lot older because the fat is removed from their faces. And so when you're younger, perhaps you wanted a very low body fat percentage, but when you get older, 40s and 50s, having that very low body fat level, it in fact can make you look older. And so I would rather him look older, which admittedly he does, but to be younger on the inside. And so imagine how much younger his heart feels. Not having to pump blood to 270 pounds and now only 200. And so most certainly he's significantly healthier. All bodybuilders want to stay huge forever. That's the dream. Unfortunately, the reality is that when you chase that dream, life gets cut very, very short. Obviously, I can relate. You don't think I would still want to walk around at 220 pounds of muscle, of which I had perhaps 5 to 10 years ago? Of course I would. I like being able to bench press over 500 pounds. I like being the strongest person when I walked into a gym, having the most muscle. But eventually, that desire to be the biggest, the strongest, it doesn't outweigh your desire to live. Don't let your physique be the most interesting thing about you. This is a strong statement, and I do in fact agree with it. You know, there's nothing wrong with looking amazing, with being attractive, with trying to perfect your body, but don't let it become all of you. You are so much more than how you look. Yeah, you want to look great. Of course, we all do. But I know it's cliche, but it's also more important what's on the inside. There's way more to life than how big your muscles are. It was a lot of fun, though. No regrets, not even a letter. Please go watch Meet the whatever. He's only 39. He says he has no regrets. I had no regrets when I first stopped competing in bodybuilding, but as I got older and then I reflected, I thought, yeah, I do in fact have regrets. And so he doesn't have any regrets right now because he's 39 and apparently in good health. But what if he's now 49, 50? And what if the doctor tells him, you know what, all that steroid abuse, it's led to this. Your heart, it isn't so good. And so until there's a problem, hey, life is fun, life is great. I'm 41, I look a decade younger than you. You are doing something wrong. You can't let the internet affect you. Like, people are always going to try to put you down. Coach Greg, you're a manlet, you're a snake oil salesman, you have no muscle, you're short, get off the internet, you sound like a girl, you're a hobbit, whatever. You can't let it bother you. And so just because people are saying this, hey, you just read the comment and move on. I always say, why do you care about the opinions of guys from Bangladesh? You're never going there. Holy downgrade, the nightmare of every bodybuilder. Like, do you know how hard that would be to read if you don't have a strong self-esteem? Like, imagine you're 14, 15, 16 years of age, you're a kid, and somebody told you that. Like, you perhaps went on a cut, you lost 20 pounds. Holy downgrade. You might think, well, I don't know what to do with myself. I can't handle it. And so somebody like Eric English, if he decided to go natural and the people were to comment, if they said, holy downgrade, he may never be the same. His response, it has to happen at some point. Better to choose when it happens as opposed to being forced to happen. Exactly. And here's the thing. It's a downgrade for a very specific group of population. Bodybuilders, or perhaps gay men who are enthusiasts of that look. Specific people, not often your average Joe. Dude, what? Just stay around 220 to 230. Why are you melting like an ice cream cone? You're 39, not 60. Chill. He's 5'10" and weighs 200. 200. Do you know how big that is? Hussein Farhat is 5'11" and weighs 180. He's 200 pounds. that is a large man by any standard. 200 pounds lean. He's not fat. And so, if anything, he may in fact still have too much muscle. He's still, in the general sense of the word, huge. If he had never have been 270 and he had posted on subreddit his transformation from when he started at 160 pounds at age 23, remember, to now 200 pounds at 39, the subs would have said, wow, you've done it. You trained for 15 years and you put on 40 pounds of muscle. What an amazing transformation. And you're almost 40. Bravo for hanging in there. Great job. But because he abused steroids and was 270 pounds unhealthy on a shit ton of gear, oh, you've melted like an ice cream cone. You look like a bag of milk. Well, don't do steroids in the first place, because if you do, you're always going to remember that bar. The bar was moved so high up, you can never keep that standard. Here's a nice comment. It's not often that I read that. It says, "Are you okay, brother? Lost a lot of weight. Hey, hopefully you're okay." You know, it's genuine concern. Sometimes people, they just speak nonsense. And so he's asking me, you know, are you okay? Mental health. Are you handling things okay? What's your TRT dose now, and what test level does it put you at? He states 250 milligrams a week. It keeps me around 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. There it is. Hey, you know, some people need higher doses. 250 milligrams, it's putting him at 1,000. I have no reason to doubt him. If he was at 1,200, he would say 1,200. I don't think he's lying. And so perhaps the years of abuse has required him to take very high doses of TRT. For most people, 250 milligrams is a lot. We all remember Alex Eubank, when he started, it was at 200, maybe it was 250, and his testosterone levels were over 1,500, and he's lowered that dose, I believe, to somewhere around 150. I applaud your efforts. Great work. I see a lot of people in the comment section don't understand. The lighter you are, the less stress on your heart, kidneys, etc., even if the weight is muscle mass. Too much weight will negatively impact the amount of stress on your organs. Just look at David Bautista and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Both decided to lose the unnecessary muscle mass in favor of longevity and health. Keep up the good work, brother. You're right, exactly. I mean, he's 39. Think of it, The Rock, he waited until he was in his 50s. Do you know how much more damage would occur if he continued to blast steroids into his 50s? Remember, guys, I only stopped when I was, I believe it was 44, but I only started into my 30s. Unlike younger athletes like Sam Sulik or Chris Bumstead, who started blasting as teenagers, I waited until I was significantly older. And so notice, C-Bum has already retired. He's already done enough damage to his body that he decided to pull the plug on his career. And so some people, they choose to use steroids at an early age. But if you do, you have to retire younger. If he was blasting at 18 and continued until his 40, do you really think he would make it to 50? And so that is the problem. It's sad when I see teenagers using steroids at such an early age, because they already had so much potential, natural newbie gains. Why not make the most of this? You're already going to enjoy the journey. It's going to be fun. You don't need steroids as a teenager in order to progress. And so wait until you're older. Wait until you hit your natural genetic limit, and then and only then use steroids. Now, I'm not telling you to use steroids. Of course, I'm telling you to avoid doing this. But if you are going to do it, at least wait until you're older. And if you're unsure whether or not you should be using them, the answer is always no. When you have kids, reality hits. You are a means to an end. Protect and raise your family well. I don't have a kid, but I can empathize with other people and think, why would they risk it? It can't be worth it. Perhaps if you don't have an IFBB Pro card or you don't have a muscle, you're thinking, yeah, I would do it. It's worth it because it's so much better when you're big. It's not that cool, guys. I mean, it's fun. The journey is a lot of fun. It's a good time. But once you get that muscle, you're just going to continue to move the goalposts. It's no matter how much muscle that you have, you're always going to want more. Your goal is to become 200 pounds lean. Well, once you get that, you're going to realize that, hey, you're not really that big compared to Chris Bumstead. You're now going to want to be 250. It never ends. And so I encourage you to stay natural. I encourage you to use natural supplements like GO2 Max for your cardio, Turk Builder Max to build more muscle. And if you do, in fact, use performance enhancing drugs or you want to be healthy, please go to AlgoRx, get your blood work taken, get FDA-approved medications, for example, enclomiphene, Cialis, telmisartan, dutasteride, finasteride, whatever you need for your hair. Get these from AlgoRx because they come from a compounding pharmacy. It's doctor prescribed. It's not research chemical bullshit. And so, for example, they don't sell retatrutide. They do not because it's not yet FDA approved. And so it has to be legal for use, and it's 100% backed. It's guaranteed to be exactly what it is. You're not taking any risks. And so if you're interested, of course, use code Greg. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo for AlgoRx. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. If you want to be sponsored or become an ambassador, you like the supplements and you just want to help out, please apply right now by clicking the link, as well as if you want to get coached by me and my team, or if you want to carry the supplements to your store, the link is right there. And until next time, I am out.